Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the first episode of Voice of Youth. Hopefully you've seen the introductory episode last week, which came out on Thursday. Hopefully you've seen that, so you're caught up with what the show is. I'm your host, Kirtan Singh, and this is Voice of Youth, where we talk about our perspective as youth. We talk about what we've experienced in the past, our thoughts on what's happening now, and what we hope to achieve in the future. So last week, as I said, was an introduction to myself and what the show is going to be about. Today, we are talking about COVID-19, the current situation, and at the time of recording this episode, several suburbs have been put into lockdown. It's the stages, stage 3 that they're currently in, and we are in early July right now. So at the time of uploading this video, some things may change, but hopefully you can still gain something from what we're going to talk about today, which is mainly keeping busy and also some of the experiences we've had while in isolation. So, saying we, I have a guest today called Sharanjit Kaur, and I will now introduce you to her. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ka Fateh. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Just had uni actually on campus, so a bit tired, but yeah, good.
Okay, well, thank you for joining me into this episode itself, one of the first that we're doing. So we're talking about COVID-19, as I've talked to you about it before, what you've been doing to stay busy, and some of your experiences outside of, what you've been doing normally. So what you've experienced while in isolation, what you've experienced going to uni as well. So what's it like going to uni? You're going to the city, correct? Yeah?
Yes, so I'm on the Melbourne University campus. So not many people are back. I think it's just some postgrad students. And because I'm an optometry student, a lot of our work is clinical and hands-on. Yeah. So that means we're sanitizing everything every 5 minutes, washing our hands so much that our hands are all dry.
Yes, I can appreciate that, because same thing with my course. We've had one of our classes go back to actually being in person.
Yeah,
it's one of the subjects from last semester, actually, even though second semester is starting up. And yeah, we have all these protocols to follow: wearing gloves, sanitizing your hands. We don't have to wear masks, but we also have to thoroughly clean the equipment and everything.
Yeah, it's not mandatory, I believe, to wear masks, but personally, I've gotten into the habit of wearing it at work now. So I sometimes just wear it at uni as well, but I've only been back a couple of times. But I made a joke to my friend the other day. I was like, it feels like we're in Big Brother.
Big Brother?
You know how, not like the show, but like the whole dystopian thing?
Okay, I was going to say, I don't watch. I don't know what that
like 1984 George Orwell's book. A lot of people might have read that in high school, actually. I'd be interested to know who. But yeah, it just felt really weird because we're just being watched. Do this, don't do this, and it's really it's a bit full on, but we know it's necessary. So
yeah, it's one of those things where even though some people out there say that it's a bigger deal than it is with everything going on with COVID-19, but the thing is that there's the risk that people actually are going to be suffering, going to the hospital, and possibly passing on. The aim is to reduce that risk as much as possible, because even though you might not be it, I'm young, you're young, I like to think I'm relatively healthy, and less likely to actually be fatally ill by COVID-19. But there are people out there, old and even young and any age in between, that can be thoroughly affected by this. It's important that we all follow these procedures, even though they might seem a little strict at time, especially with suburbs going into lockdown. Yours is one of them, I believe.
Yes, just day one of lockdown.
It's difficult, but that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. So what people have been doing to stay busy, what I've been doing, what you've been doing, and what we can hopefully help other people start to get stuff done. Even though we're well into isolation, it's not going to go away anytime soon. So, for example, what I've been doing, I've started drawing in isolation. I'm not an artist by any standard. I just learned shading at the start, and then drawing little figures and stuff. They're pretty bad at first. One day I might share it with the actual the one watching the show. But until then, they're all right. They're all right. But what have you been doing to stay busy during isolation?
So you draw, that's your outlet, I guess, creativity. I've been painting a lot more. So before COVID happened, I painted a bit, but it was always one of those things that felt like a chore. But then I didn't really have an excuse anymore. So I had like a whole bunch of canvas and just so much paint that my mum was complaining that I had. And so I just like picked it up and started painting. And now it became like a really good thing for me mentally to like have an outlet.
Yeah.
Like having a project to work on is actually just something that's really good for all of us. And I think that's what a lot of your self-care is going to be about, keeping busy. So yeah, I've been painting a lot more.
Paintings have you done?
Well,
if you don't mind sharing, yeah.
No, I don't mind sharing. I mean, for anyone who knows K-pop, and basically a lot of my paintings have just been inspired by their music, any symbols, lyrics even. So there's like the whole concept of loving yourself. I've kind of fallen into that K-pop hole and I'm never coming out of it again.
Oh god, I narrowly escaped that. Like I was like in the early high school, not even early high school. A couple of my friends were really into K-pop and everything, BTS, BAP, whatever.
Yeah.
We actually listened to that like BAP's Power when we were in Japanese class. We learned Japanese, Horizons back then. It was stuff like that. It's just narrowly escaped.
I feel like it's been keeping me really busy. So like having a passion, I think, is just something that's really fun. So yeah. And I've been able to like meet people. The memes have been great. Memes are really great during this time.
Always good a couple of memes.
Yeah, so that's really good. But apart from that, it's been for the past 3 months we had like online classes and then we had online exams, which were probably more stressful than in-person exams for some reason.
Like, what would online exams like? I didn't have any, so.
Oh, okay. A lot of youth probably have had them. So most of them were open book, but they were like, you had like a 24-hour period to do it, but once you started it, you had like 2 hours. So it was a bit weird because you're not studying because your brain knows you don't actually have to memorize this.
I just have like a tab open and then you're just using that.
Yeah. And the exam would like open up at 10 a.m. But there I am at like 9 p.m. Like I should do it now. So it's really weird. But yeah, and like having big families, a lot of my friends have big families too. So you have to let all of them know, like I'm about to do an exam. But so it is really weird. But
yeah, so one of the online classes we had, someone was presenting and then the dad walked in and everything. And it's just one of those moments, like you think that's going to happen to me, but it doesn't. And then it happens to him and it's like,
Yeah, it's just, we had someone getting like a haircut during one of the classes and I'm like, is it really mandatory right now to be doing that? Like I've done classes from like, if I had a 10 a.m. class, I've just stayed in bed, just turned it on, but I didn't turn on my camera.
The amount of times like I'm in class and I'm like, I'm having breakfast or something because it's like I get up, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat breakfast. Eating breakfast while I have my laptop at the dining table, I turn off the volume like fully, so like I'm gonna keep it. But no,
it's been weird though, like to learn. I feel like it hasn't, like I'm a more visual learner, but this is actually really hard for me because I get distracted and then I feel like I don't actually have to do anything.
One of those difficulties is like staying on track because when you're like sitting down watching on class and stuff, you're like on your phone, you're on all these social media things, and even though you could be doing that while actually in class itself, like I know I had 9 a.m. starts before COVID-19 and everything happened. I fell asleep in a class or two. It's so difficult to get up and go do that and get into that rhythm, but then when I got into that rhythm, it all just goes away because of isolation. But that still happens here and there. But one thing
like, you know, it takes 3 weeks to make a good habit, but only like 3 seconds to break it.
Break it,
And I feel like that's so true. But like I've had to do those things as well. At the very start, I was just staying in bed. I didn't really have anything to do. You know, you just stay in your pajamas and then you change into a different pair of pajamas. And I started to realize, I'm like, you need to actually have a bit of a routine and like set reasonable, smart goals that you can actually achieve. So even just not doing my classes in bed made a huge difference to my day and my mood. Like I started doing my classes at my desk, or if it was sunny outside, I just went outside and did classes. And just staying out of bed as much as I could was really good for me.
Yeah. So one of those things, and then you also associate it with it. Like every time I go to bed, one thing I got into this last year actually, is reading before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, if I read, I heard that actually makes you go to sleep easier and everything. Makes you helps you fall asleep easier, I should say. Use some proper grammar there. Yeah, and I've got into the habit of doing that, and luckily that's one of the things that actually continues on throughout isolation. I get the day or two, I'm like, I'm watching this show, I'm gonna binge watch it. I'm binge watching Community right now. And I love it. It's such a good show. But anyway, it kind of gets me out of that habit. But either way, I feel like I'm still doing something. Like watching a show at night obviously isn't the best thing to do. But for the most part, I read a book, and like hopefully there are these small habits that do continue through. Like people that enjoy cooking, perhaps you have this opportunity to cook more at home. And
people started baking bread. That was such a trend for like a week or two. It was a huge trend on like TikTok, like making my own bread, and I was like, wow, people really
like that. It's such perfect timing for that. Even though it used to be Musically and everything, it's rebranded to TikTok, and it's kind of a good thing, because even though it's like a digital platform, people are doing a lot of crazy things. The amount of times you see people do all these cool trick shots with a ping pong ball is like bouncing off all these things going in, or just people are having fun, and that's one of the great things. Like for the most part, people are staying safe, doing these things at home, doing them while protected and everything, but they're having fun, and that's one of the great things to see.
They're keeping busy, and there's a lot of good positive influences on TikTok as well. And obviously, with everything that's going on in the world, it's kind of what we need. So, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, staying positive. Like you mentioned earlier, keeping a schedule, doing these sorts of things. And, touching on what we've been doing as well. So you've been painting, going to uni. You've also been working, correct?
Yes. So I work at OPSM in the city. It's been a bit interesting because we just shut down the store for a long time. I started working again about a month ago. It's been interesting because I prefer to wear my mask all the time. And I know it's not mandatory either at work. I'm not sure if it's mandatory at all workplaces, but for us, it's something that we just all do. Yeah. But we've had customers come in and they're like, I refuse to wear the mask and I refuse to sanitize my hands. And I'm like, I'm doing it. Like, to the point where you're like, it makes people feel comfortable. And, there is proof that it does slow the spread. So you might as well do it.
Even if it's a minimal amount, it's something that, people feel safer with it. The people out there, like we said earlier, the elderly or those that, could possibly fall ill from this, it's better just to take the safety precaution, because you don't lose anything. Like if you feel like, oh, wearing a mask is uncomfortable, sure it is, but maybe like just push through it for a little bit. You're not expected to wear it the whole day while you're at home or while you're doing
it. You can take a breather. Like when you go to the bathroom, just like some people just like, even when they're just outside and there's like no one around, they're just like, take it off, have a breather. People have been wearing like, you can even make custom masks like from cotton. I got one. It's not here yet, but it's coming, and it's going to say "Pizza is life" on it. So I'm having fun with it, right?
Yeah.
I have friends who've got like floral patterns. You can even wear bandanas. Like I see guys wearing bandanas because they prefer it over their beards. Yeah. So really, it's turning into a bit of a trend as well to have like cool masks as well. So
yeah, it is important to know that like not all these, like wearing a bandana doesn't help filter out whatever's going on and stuff.
That's true. That's true.
At least it helps in some aspects where it stops you from touching your mouth and other your nose and stuff. So it's better to wear like the more filtered masks and whatnot. It's like reducing the risk a little. I don't know if you've seen. There's actually, I saw it on the news recently. I can't remember where it was, but a guy's actually made a mask where when you wear it, it's actually showing the bottom half of your face.
Oh wow!
So he's making some, like people do it where they're smiling, and then when they have the mask on, they're talking. There's this giant smile coming across, and it's really cool. It's just the creativity going on is just so cool to see.
The amount of times I've forgotten that I'm smiling at people, but I'm wearing a mask, and then and I'm just like staring them.
Oh my god! It's like You said earlier, like, people feel more comfortable when you're wearing a mask and stuff. When I went out with my mom the other day, we went to grocery shopping to get some groceries. I was wearing the mask and everything, and my mom was like, "Oh, people are avoiding you more because you're wearing the mask," and it's like it's not a problem, just stay away from me, social distance yourself. You know what I mean? Um,
Exactly.
but then at
Exactly.
the same time, you see like a baby in like a pram or something, like the mom's pushing the pram or something. And every time you see a baby, you're like, oh, it's so cute. But then all the baby sees is just my eyes just staring.
Yeah, just like yeah, look, it's got to be a bit daunting, but
Yeah.
I think it is tricky with young people right now because I think Dan Andrews was saying that most of the spread is happening and the spikes that we're getting are among young people under the age of 30. So I
Yeah.
feel like this is just a wake up call for everyone to do even the bare minimum, which is to wear a mask, in
Yeah.
my opinion, completely. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I know it's a challenge, and I feel like everyone's been through a lot already this year. And we don't want to be like, adding more to your plates, but it's not over yet. That's kind of how I see it. But we've got a
Yeah.
lot of advantages in terms of technology. So we're actually doing a lot better than we think.
Yeah, when you think about it, us in Australia, we're doing really well in comparison to other parts of the world. And obviously, my thoughts go out to all those that are affected in there because it's obviously a lot harder for them with all that's going on. But let's talk about a little bit more about Australia itself specifically because
Yeah.
we are youth here.
Yeah.
We think it's important that we, practice these things, but some people out there, some youth our age, as you've clearly stated, don't think so. So just quickly, I just want to touch on the fact that if you are out there, if you are going out, just make sure you do these small things that just help stop the spread. Even though you may believe, if you do believe that it's the government controlling us through fear, or if it's anything of the sort where it's an overreaction to what's going on, just think about those that are actually affected by it. I know
Yeah.
if my grandmothers are alive, they're in Singapore, but I like to think that the people that are in Singapore would be thinking like I am here, thinking, oh,
Yeah.
there's an elderly person here, especially with Victorian borders closed now. I'm not
Mm.
open to any of the other states. If some family members are isolated from one another in state-wise, they can't come see their grandparents
Yeah,
who could
exactly.
will. It's
Exactly. So it's
difficult.
actually, even if you don't believe in COVID, like being that bad for whatever reason, then at least you can think about the fact that like if we all do the right thing now and we manage this spike and hopefully it doesn't turn into a huge wave or anything, then we can go back to our somewhat normal lives sooner. And
Yeah,
that's something that we got to do for ourselves, but also for each other. Like our elderly community has already been affected. Our Gurdwara, they're not doing Sangats right now. So that's impacted all of us. So
yeah,
if the
but
youth can like pull together a little bit more, we can kind of get this over and done with.
yeah, but speaking of Sangats, that's something we'd like to touch on.
Yeah.
You talked to me about it earlier, the virtual Sangats that have been happening, the Kirtan Diwans. What are your thoughts on that? How have you been enjoying
I
them?
think it's absolutely amazing. So when we went into lockdown, obviously it was really like it was just so shocking that the Gurdwara were like, no more, like we can't do this, we're on
Yeah,
lockdown. And I was like, how is
no more
everyone gonna
days.
no. Like, how is everyone gonna deal with this,
Yeah,
Especially I felt very bad for the elderly community. It was a vector for them to
mm,
socialize. They spent their days there. It was something they look forward to. And when they started, so like we know the people that started the online sangats, and I think it was just absolutely incredible, and it
yeah,
grew so fast. It went globally, and I just think it's
yeah.
amazing. Like that's the kind of leadership that we need. Like they took initiative. It started from like one person and just spread everywhere, and I feel like it's just amazing.
Because you feel it as a Sikh. One of the key aspects of going to a Gurdwara or going to a Kirtan program is the Sangat. And even though it feels different, obviously, doing it online and hearing Kirtan online, but the idea is when I was watching it, when I do watch it, it's with my family. We're sitting down
Yeah,
at the couch and it's on the TV connected to the laptop and whatnot.
yeah,
We're sitting there together watching it. Yeah, and you still get somewhat of that Sangat feeling.
yeah,
And my sister and I, we partook in it one time, added a little humor towards the beginning of it, just to keep it a little
yeah,
lighthearted. Um,
yeah, yeah,
it's early on in isolation, but it's just one of those. It's a good opportunity. So someone started this up, it gave us an opportunity to do something in isolation. And that's one of the things that many people, I think, have been trying to take advantage of, at least when they
Definitely.
have all these opportunities. We touched on it earlier, where being in isolation, you're going to do more things that you wanted to before, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to, get everything that you want to do done. Like, obviously, in taking care of your mental health, I feel like everyone's mental health has taken a bit of like a plummet in this situation. So I really appreciate everyone who's been doing the online sangats, everyone who's been like, advocating for like positive mental health. It's really good that we have that. And like I've seen Snapchats of like youth setting up the TV for their elders to like watch, live Kirtan. And I just think that's really good. So like we need to do more of that. And hopefully this will be over soon and we can finally go to the Gurdwara and have some deg because we all miss it.
Some langar, please. No, it's good. Speaking about mental health, you are a member of the Chaitana organization, and hopefully in a future episode, I like to have everyone come on for one episode. But could you just briefly share a few companies or sites or organizations which people could go to for more information or for any virtual conferences or help if they need?
Yeah, so there's a few, even if you go on the Chaitana Instagram page, we've shared all the resources, but I think the first place is obviously your GP. You've got Beyond Blue and you've got eHeadspace. I think those are the main sort of ones that we have in Australia. In terms of like emergency services, you've always got 000 Lifeline to call. And there's even online chats where you can talk to someone online if you're feeling distressed or overwhelmed. So there's a lot of services out there. It's just more maybe our community doesn't always know about them.
Yeah. So it's taking those steps, like with everything we've talked about. Hopefully everyone can take a small step forward and then take the opportunities as they come, starting a schedule, starting a routine, maybe planning out what you can or want to do, and hopefully work to achieve that goal. Start off small. It doesn't have to be anything big.
Yeah, you don't have to set crazy goals for yourself. Like, I remember putting so much pressure on myself at the start. Now I'm like, you know what, just take it easy. Like, it's okay to just not do everything.
Yeah.
So,
Stay connected is one of the biggest things. So even if it's something small, a Netflix party, I know you've done a few of those.
Yes.
A Zoom call. You told me about trivia, I believe, and
yes, we did like trivia nights. Me and my friends actually just got dressed up to sit on a Zoom call and eat together. Or you like all eats together. It's just like I actually think it's pretty great for my friendships. I feel like my friendships have actually strengthened over this time because we appreciate that we haven't been physically together. So communication's just gotten stronger with everyone in my life personally. So when this is over, I feel like we'll have a new appreciation for people in our lives.
Yeah, it's like I just had a group call with a few of my friends the other day, and one of them is actually in Sydney right now. Haven't seen them in a long time, and I'm just sitting there like that, just looking at. Like, oh man, my friend. Yeah. I think that's just great. Staying connected is one of the most important things we can do, and I think that's a great way to end this episode. So we've talked about COVID-19, the situation right now. Obviously, things will change, hopefully for the better. But hopefully you've also learned, or hopefully you've also gained a few things that you could possibly do to keep busy. Maybe you can develop a few of the things you're already doing, and let me know what you're already doing, because you've been in isolation for how long out there? The audience, I'm not talking to you, Sharanjit. No. So let me know, let us all know what you've been up to, share some of the things that you've been doing, because this is a great opportunity for you to start that drawing you never knew you wanted to do. Start playing an instrument, go get a keyboard, order it online.
It's fun. Yeah. Just do whatever. It doesn't even matter. You don't have to be good at it. Just do it.
Yeah, it's all for fun. Take this opportunity as it comes. Do you have any closing comments you'd like to make before we wrap this up?
Wear a mask if you leave the house and take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. That's all we can ask. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Voice of Youth. If you'd like to share anything that you've been experiencing, please do in the comment section of whatever platform you are watching this on. Feel free to contact me, contact any of the organizations, Chaitana, or anything else that we've mentioned. And make sure you stay safe out there. And hopefully you've seen the past video on the introduction to this series and know what to expect. And stay tuned for more episodes to come. Thank you, Sharanjit, for taking part in this
Thank you
episode
so
as
much.
well. I hope to
Yeah.
talk to you in the future and the Kirtan team as well. So to
Definitely.
all, I'd like to say goodbye. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you.